Hello, UC Bearcat fans. It's James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster with UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network. Mark, what have the Bearcats been up to?
Well, James, we'll start with football. They had a nice win last Friday night against South Florida. What was it, a 21-point win, 17-point win? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a win nonetheless. But
17, yeah.
17. It gets to it raises the question. It wasn't pretty enough. Was it pretty enough? And I think we kind of got our answer last night when the college football the rankings came out, the playoff rankings. UC still sits at 5 with Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, and Georgia ahead of them. So
yeah.
It was a decent performance, but the problem is they just the power of the schedule now is really biting them in the butt.
That is true. Yeah, I was going to say, I know we're excited about the Big 12 a couple of years from now, but unfortunately, we're not there yet.
Exactly. You can only play the games on your schedule. And is this week SMU? I think this week's SMU. This is the remaining big game on their schedule because I think SMU's ranked, albeit low, but they're ranked at least. So, we'll see if they can take care of business this weekend. It's just, I don't know, James, you and I have talked about this a lot. It's just a little bit maddening, the process of the college football playoff rankings. 2 one-loss teams or 3 one-loss teams ahead of them. I forgot Alabama already lost. So the one, and I've said this week after week after week, the one that really just blows my mind is Oregon. I know Oregon has one of the best win probably, but they've got by far the worst loss too. So, but I guess you and I don't get paid the big bucks to make those choices, right? So
exactly, it's made by a group of people who don't watch college football.
Dude, did I really hear the head of the college football playoff committee say, "Well, take watching the game out of the equation"? Like, seriously?
What?
How can you take watching the game out of the equation? He was asked about Michigan being higher than Michigan State. And he started off by saying, well, you got to take watching the game out of the equation. I'm like, seriously, did you really just say that?
Yeah, no, head-to-head, that should be the most important thing.
Yeah, which then, if you do go head-to-head, then Oregon should be above Ohio State. But, man, that Stanford loss is just brutal for Oregon. I don't understand. But, again, you and I don't get paid the money to do it. So while we were talking before we started recording, there's all different kinds of predictions out there for the college football playoffs. And I saw one that, as I said to you, would just burn this city down, and that is a number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Cincinnati.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I love that one. Yeah, I was going to say, I found that it's on CBS. How amazing would that be, going down there to the Cotton Bowl? Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be incredible. I was at the game a few years back at Paul Brown Stadium, and it was – the atmosphere was unbelievable. I couldn't imagine what it would be like, on such a major stage.
Definitely. Yeah, because it had to have been better atmosphere than, unfortunately, when we went up to Ohio State a couple years ago. And unfortunately, that people still factor that into it, even though they're not the same players.
Yeah, I agree. I don't understand that, historically. Well, if you go by historically, then Ohio State shouldn't even have to play Michigan, or
yeah.
At the end of the season, because historically, it's been one-sided. I don't get that crap. Historically, Alabama and Georgia shouldn't play because Alabama has always had a better team, but now Georgia's better this year. Yeah, whatever. That's what we need to understand. You can only do what's set in front of you, we as fans. And UC's trying to do their best. It's just right now it's not enough.
And with all college sports, you only have like a 3 to 4 year window where you have the same players. So, I mean, I kind of get, of course, UC fans were saying, hey, we lost one game last year, no games this year, and the only game we lost to was the number one team in the country. So if we're going to talk about good losses, that obviously has to be the best loss.
Right, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's
because it was last year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, it's a bit of a racket. I mean, I've seen a couple people present different ways to do this. Like the 5 major conferences, their champion gets in, and then there's 3 at-larges. For an 8-team playoff. I like that. Especially since UC will be in what's considered one of the majors, one of the top 5 in a couple of years, and quite honestly, the Big 12 without Texas or without Oklahoma is going to be extremely winnable for the Bearcats. So, I would love to see that. The 5 conference champions and then 3 others. But who knows? Who knows if they'll change it? They're making too much money doing it the way it is.
Exactly. So if they don't make it into the Big 4, the 2 places that I see them going, of course, are the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl being the top 2 choices, because both of those are at large, where they wouldn't be able to get into the Sugar Bowl or the Rose Bowl because those have historical ties to conferences.
Yeah, God, man, it would be so cool if UC weren't to make it in, okay? And if the Rose Bowl were to just break with it and just say, what, the Pac-12's best team isn't as good as UC. We'll take UC instead. God, that would be awesome. But they won't do that.
They're never going to do that. No, I mean, because of legal contracts and stuff. They wouldn't be able to do that, I don't think. Now, what would be great, so we end up playing Michigan State, say, for example, in either the Fiesta or the Peach, probably the Peach, and winning that game, and then having an argument saying, hey, maybe we should, kind of giving them the right to be, kind of what UCF did a couple years ago.
Yeah, being an undefeated, and I think UC would even have more of a claim to it than UCF would, because UCF was never rated that high. I don't know. It'd be cool. It'd be really cool to see, but obviously our ultimate goal is to get into that playoff, and the Peach Bowl wouldn't be far, and quite honestly, the Fiesta Bowl, I've heard that's one heck of a trip. It's a great place to go. But we want them in one of the playoff bowls. So,
exactly.
Again, we just got to see what happens. It sucks, but it is what it is, unfortunately.
And on the bright side, if we did get into the Peach Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl, odds are it wouldn't be a home game for the other team like it was last year.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
I mean, we're playing Georgia in Georgia. Really?
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, that don't make any sense. Sheesh. That'd be like playing Michigan or Michigan State at the Lions Stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But, so it sounds like things are progressing. They're moving the right way. Obviously, you've got the home game, so that's good news against SMU this Saturday at 3:30. Boo Saturday at 3:30. Why couldn't it be Saturday at 7 or 8 would be awesome. But whatever, it's 3:30.
Yeah. Take it for what it's worth,
Exactly.
It'll be on. But, James, I think in this game they got to go out and this is their one last chance. I mean, honestly, except for the All-American or the American Conference championship game. But, again, that could be Tulsa or Tulane again, or I don't even know who that can end up being. But, I think they have to go out and just destroy this team. I think they have to go out and just kill SMU. And
they need to.
Well, because now, and who would have thought this when the season started or in the preseason, SMU is going to end up being a better win than Indiana.
Wow, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, because Indiana lost to Rutgers this past weekend.
So far it looks like it'd be Houston.
Okay, Houston. Okay.
Yeah, because Houston is currently 7-0. Actually, Houston is probably like, hey, we have a better conference record than Cincinnati. We should be better than them.
Yeah.
We're like, no, it doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Well, Houston could. could be a little bit of a resume builder for him, so.
Yeah, definitely, because they're 9-1. I mean, they've had a good season.
Yeah.
So they got that going on. Then of course we got that East Carolina game. So yeah, there's all kinds of good things ahead for UC football. 3 games, hopefully 4 games. Well, of course 4 games left on the season. So yeah, nowhere else to go but up.
You're right. It's we'll just go handle business, and unfortunately leave it in the fate of a bunch of people who probably don't watch football games. So.
Exactly. So from there, switching over to we got another team that's undefeated, and apparently if they win, when they win on Thursday, they will be the first team since 1964-65 to go 4-0, which that sounds wrong to me, but I got that sent to me by UC, so it's got to be correct. Or no, wait, the first UC team to go 4-0 to start the season with a new head coach. That's what it was, with a new head coach.
Okay. Well, hey, that's awesome though. You were there last night. They beat Alabama A&M 89-66, and to tell you the truth, James, you can testify to this as much as I can. It wasn't even that close. I mean, UC gave up about a 10-2 run towards the end of the game for it to get even that close.
Well, that's the weird thing about it. The first half, it definitely was. The first half, it was really close. It was, when I got there, it was like 33-30 or something. It was, they were giving them a good game because Alabama was firing on all cylinders when I first got there. Mm-hmm. So they were doing a solid job. But then the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, you're right, UC boat raced them. I mean, because they just have more depth. I mean, that was the big difference.
James, you were at the game. I was watching it on ESPN Plus. The commentators said, it's funny. We talked about the depth of UC, and with a new coach and a bunch of new players, that shouldn't happen. The depth shouldn't be as good as it is. But man, it's there. I mean, you look at you look at the score sheet from last night. Let me pull it up here real quick. Box score. I mean, you had let's see.
Yeah, David, who has been doing a great job and is a really good leader for him.
Yeah, Julius, and I mean, you look at the points. They had only 1, 2, 3, 4 people didn't score.
Yep.
And one of them was the walk-on who got in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. On his birthday.
Yeah.
So a happy birthday to Sam Martin.
Sam. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, and the thing is, you look at the score sheet and it's 8, 12, 8, 6, 4, 3, and then you get to 14, 13, 21, obviously with Julius leading the way. But I mean, it's a well-rounded performance last night. And at halftime it was 37-32. So I mean, it was close, and UC put 52 points up in the second half. And I'll tell you what, if they can keep shooting the 3 like they were last night, there's some good things in store for the program. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Definitely. And then the crazy thing is, their best player didn't even play.
Yeah, who was it?
Victor.
Victor. Yeah.
Yeah, because even if he's not their best player right now, he's going to be. I mean, it's ridiculous how much they praise how great he's doing for them.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, he's one of 4 big men that you can rotate in. And I mean, last night I was really impressed with Oguama. I mean, he was solid. He looked like he should be starting all the time.
Exactly.
And I mean, it was good. It was a really good performance, and you can tell that Wes Miller's got him playing the way he wants him to. He has, in the first 4 games, and we talked about this last week, I think in the first 4 games that they have played, he has really put his fingerprint on this team. He's really, you can see the difference between Miller's Bearcats and Brandon's Bearcats, and man, it is so refreshing.
Well, the nice thing is he did bring the 3 players with him, so that helps.
Right, that does help. That helps to install or instill a little bit of the culture and a little bit of the the expectations. But man, it is just they're fun to watch, James. It was really a good game last night, and I can't tell you when the last time I sat down and enjoyed a UC basketball game. I always root for them. I always watch them. But I actually enjoyed the game last night. It's like, well, what's going on here? What's this feeling I have? I'm not worried, because they're playing hard. And it was good. It was good.
So how the game has kind of felt being there. Like the first game, obviously it was excitement, Evansville. Georgia, definitely, was a huge crowd. A&M, there was a little bit less of a crowd there. I know it's a Tuesday, and and it's Alabama A&M versus being Georgia, but there definitely was a bit of a different feel fan-wise. Obviously, the players were still up for it, but there was a little something off.
Yeah, and I kind of got that feeling watching it on TV. They weren't as loud, but still, it's a great atmosphere.
Oh, it is. It's still it's still top notch, but just how ridiculously good it was in the Georgia game, because obviously the UC fans, they feel that points from that game are going to go towards the playoffs, and we're like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I wish it could.
Yeah, but you don't get to take the 5 points that you beat them by and go towards there. They're like, oh, okay, we lost by 3, but we beat them by 5. Like, no, there's no equation there where that works. But they, they had a great game, all 3 games. It's like you said, Coach Miller definitely has good control over the team, and he really, he's happy with some of the things, but there is still a lot that they can do to improve. And that's the big thing about the team, is that they're nowhere near where they're going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and next Monday is going to be a big measuring stick. They go against Illinois, the number 10 team in the country, and we'll see how that is. We're going to learn a little bit about the team. It's it'll be. They play Presbyterian on Thursday. Okay, whatever. But the game Monday is going to be a big measuring stick, and it'll be fun to see.
Exactly. So you got that game. That game is going to be huge. And then the follow-up game the next night, either way, Arkansas or Kansas State is going to be a solid game as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be – those are going to be 2 nights that you just want to settle in and watch, and see how it goes, because it's going to – and just enjoy it. Let's not panic. We can, as Cincinnati fans of all sports, we panic, when something doesn't go our way. And, if Illinois does beat us, you know what? They're the number 10 team in the country. They should beat us, right now. Who knows down the road if it would be different. But, it'll be a fun game, and we're going to learn a lot about the team.
Exactly. And I look forward to talking about that next Wednesday, because I think that is going to be, something huge to discuss.
Yeah, because we are going to see, again, if Wes Miller's culture, if Wes Miller's personality, if his fingerprint is truly on this team, because, Georgia was a good team. They were a good team, and that was a nice win. That was an outstanding win, the way they did it. But, we'll learn a lot about playing the top 10 team.
Oh, definitely. That's a huge measuring stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, we can't get too high. We can't get too low. As fans of this UC basketball team, we need to enjoy this ride, because I really think that this is the beginning of something good. I really believe that Wes Miller wants to be here. This isn't a stepping stone for him. And
exactly.
if he can get this team to where it was, and then going into the Big 12, which right now is quite honestly a better basketball conference than it is a football conference. It's going to be fun to watch.
Definitely. There's a huge, bright future ahead for UC sports. I mean, definitely the basketball and the football. So we got all kinds of great things to watch this weekend. Like you said, we got the football on Saturday, 3:30 at UC. They say there's 324 tickets left. I doubt there's that many, but that's what the word on the street is. So definitely get down there if you can. And then for those that are all about the basketball, on Monday and Tuesday next week, going to have two great games. Let's see. ESPN News. One says ESPN News. The other one, the second game doesn't say it's televised.
It doesn't yet, but I'm sure they're going to wait and see game time and all that fun stuff to let us know.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I would think it would be, because this is one of those little preseason or classic games.
Yep, the Hall of Fame Classic. Yep, out in Kansas City. Yep, Missouri.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a bunch of great stuff to watch. Any final thoughts, Mark?
No, let's just keep your eye on the football team. Let's get a big win this weekend. Leave it in the hands of the playoff committee, and then let's have fun with this basketball team.
Well, as always, it's been James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster, part of the UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network.